This is NVHA 11-0010, our 372nd interview overall. It's September the 9th, 2011, and we're in Cleveland, Ohio at the 6th.Marine Division reunion. And Obi Aasland has agreed to do an interview with us. And first of all, I'd like to thank you for allowing us to do this interview. Let's start off with the basics. What is your full name?
You won't believe it. Orwald, that's spelled O-R-W-A-L-D.
Okay.
Bertrand Aasland.
Okay. The Orwald or the Bertrand, are those family names or what's the?
No, it's just the first name is it's a variation of a Norwegian word, which they used a lot of words ending in V.
Okay.
Letter V-A-L-D.
Right.
All right, I asked my mother, where did you come up with this name? Well, she said she got it out of a Norwegian book, but Norwegians don't use the W in their words generally.
Okay.
So she corrected the Orwald to Orwald because put the W in American style.
Okay, all right.
So it ended up with this name, which I never used.
It would take too long to spell.
I can't even pronounce it.
Yeah. We had a guy, his name was H.R. Miller, and the H.R. stood for H.R. That was it, and it drove his teachers crazy. It has to stand for something. What is your date of birth?
February 17, 1923.
And what was your highest rank in the military?
PFC.
Okay. Well, PFC.
I did make corporal, but I didn't stay around to get it presented to me, so it never went in the record, and pretty soon I was discharged and forgot about it.
Well, we always bump our guys up a rank after they do an interview anyway. So.
Is that right? Oh, okay, fine.
It won't reflect much on your retirement. But
no, it wouldn't have affected it at all.
Well, where were you born?
I was born in Bristol, South Dakota.
Okay, okay. In the town of Bristol, or was it
no, it
out
was a rural,
on a farm?
on a farm.
Okay. Yeah. This was your parents' farm where you were born?
Yes.
All right. I take it your mother was there at the time?
Yes.
All right. Tell me a little something about her. First of all, what was her name?
You mean her maiden name?
Yes.
Her maiden name was Anna Bergeson.
Okay. Yeah.
And all of our ancestors came from Norway.
Okay.
My background was 100% Norwegian.
Yeah. So
all my great-grandfather and grandparents came from Norway on a wooden sailing ship.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. When did they actually come to America?
Well, approximately it was shortly before the Civil War.
Okay.
So about the 1850s, I would say.
All right. Huh. It's interesting that you've traced it back that far. A lot of people aren't able to go back that far.
I think my grandmother said her dad was a captain in the Union Army. In them days, they were paying people to join the service.
Right. Yeah.
So those people came to this country without any money and a chance to pick up a few hundred. They jumped at the chance.
Well, that's a little like being in the gambling business. Either it works out or it doesn't work out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What would you say about your mom? What was she like?
She was just she was a very religious woman, good hard worker, took care of the family in fine shape.
Quiet woman or an outgoing
very
woman?
Quiet, yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like a...
She played the pump organ in church.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, that was our life in them days. There were no other organizations. The church was, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. And simpler times and probably better. Now we're just running everywhere
that's right.
to do things.
It was a good life for kids.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
Lived on a farm. We did have good food.
Sure.
Raised everything we ate, so we had very good fare.
What was your dad's name?
Oscar.
Oscar. Okay.
And he was also born there, right? He was born in a dugout. In other words, in them days, when they first got there, they dug a hole in the ground, just put a flat roof over the top, put some straw on it, and covered it, and that was it.
Yeah.
Then later they got up and built sod houses above the ground, but when they first started, they dug a just like a basement.
Yeah, it's amazing how people got by in those days, and they thought the dugout was an improvement over just sleeping on the ground.
Oh,
and,
it
and
was. It
each
was.
step was bigger, and they seemed to appreciate it more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, take it. He was a farmer,
Yes.
and did he have a tractor or horses, or how?
It was all horse farming.
Okay.
We had no tractors, no.
Yeah. What kind of horses did he use for plow horses? Clydesdales, Percherons?
No, those were draft animals. No, I can't tell you the species of horse that they used.
Yeah.
We had quite a fleet of horses, though.
Yeah. Did you ever get a chance behind the plow yourself? Or?
Oh, well, not at that time. No.
Yeah.
I was 12 years old when I left there, so
I see.
hadn't got into that yet.
Okay. Yeah. Now you mentioned brothers and sisters. Could you name each one and tell me a little something about each one?
I had three brothers.
Okay. And
They were all older than me.
okay.
I was the last one.
Okay. And what are their names?
The oldest one was named Julius,
Okay.
and he never did get off the farm, really. He didn't like school, except that when he dropped out of high school about after the first year, and he hated book learning except radio. He bought every book he could find. He studied radio. He learned radio totally, and he built his own radios.
Ah.
He did. I don't mean he actually built the components. He wound the transformers and everything in them.
Holy smokes! Wow.
The only thing he bought was like condensers and tubes.
Right.
He would have to buy those.
Right.
So, but he was a good mechanic, self-taught mechanic.
Right.
But he never left the farm as long as my folks lived. He just stayed home. He was a bachelor. He never got married. And so that's the way he went. Right. And then he went in the Army, and at the same time, about the same time I went in the service.
Where did he serve?
Where he never did go overseas.
Okay.
He had a restricted classification of some kind. I think he had some flat feet or something anyway. So, but they put him to work stateside, limited service stateside.
Right.
But he did serve.
Oh, I tell you, that was vital back then.
Yes. Yeah, somebody had to do it.
You got a
what he
guy on
was
the front
doing.
line. Somebody's got to supply him. Somebody has to.
That's right.
Yeah. So I was always amazed at the logistics of how they did all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And your next brother.
Okay, the next one was Leonard, and he served in the Navy. He was a chief petty officer. He was a quartermaster on a destroyer in the North Atlantic during the Italian campaign.
Oh, okay.
So, and then the next one's name was Harold. He also joined the Navy, and he was chief petty officer. The Navy sent him to school in Texas, and he learned to be a radarman. That was in its infancy then.
Yeah.
And then all of his Navy career, he was attached to the 2nd.Marine Division, wore their clothes, lived with them, trained with them, and his whole life he was a Marine, except on the paper.
Except on paper.
Right. So he was out. I didn't know where he was, but during the war, when the 2nd Division landed on Tarawa, he was with them. Only he didn't land with them. They gave him 25 Marines for a bodyguard, and they sent him up to a little island called Apamama, which was up there in the Gilberts.
Right.
And they built a radar station. He manned that for the duration of the war. He stayed right there until the hostility was over.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
So he had an interesting life.
Well, I bet that was.
And we all came back.
That had to be tough.
Even better.
That had to be tough on your mom.
Yeah.
To have four boys in service at the
And
same
all
time.
of them in there.
Not really knowing where they were, and
right.
you have a vague idea, but
Yeah.
she did a wee bit of extra praying during those times.
Yeah.
Did you know your grandparents any on either side?
I never did know my grandfathers. I don't remember. Well, I didn't ever see them. They were dead before I came on the scene. I had one real grandmother, my dad's mother, and she, at the time I grew up, he had already got off of the farm and moved to town, lived there. But later years, after we came to Oregon, she came out and lived with my folks until she died in Oregon.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, and then the other was a step grandmother. She wasn't a real. Of my mother's mother was a stepmother.
Okay. Okay.
So that was my grandparents' association was very limited.
Yeah. So, what about the farm itself? What did you like about growing up on the farm?
Well, I didn't know I didn't know any different. I was born there and lived there, and everybody else did too. That we associated with. So it was just a normal thing. You know, I didn't know any other way of life. So if it was it.
What were some of the chores that you had as a boy?
Well, that was you had to feed the livestock and clean out the barn and things like that. And
Yeah.
I was getting up to where I was old enough to milk a few cows. The line, you know, we had dairy cows, and we had horses. I'd done light duties with horses, you know.
Yeah.
I had my own horse,
Okay.
which I enjoyed riding.
Did your horse have a name?
No, I don't remember. I don't remember.
Yeah.
In fact, it was a racing horse that had an accident, got his foot caught in a fence, and they retired him as a racer. And I don't know where my dad got him, but he got this horse. It was a Hamiltonian pacer, they called him.
Wow.
And he would run like when he got that foot limbered up, he would lope like a greyhound, you know, just full. Oh, he was fast as lightning. He was good. That was my horse. I really had.
I bet you enjoyed that.
I did. I enjoyed riding him.
Yeah. Now, the area where you lived, pretty much a plains area?
It was plains. You could look straight ahead and see nothing forever.
Yeah.
There was no hills, no trees, no forestry. The only trees were every farmer or something. They built a grove of trees around the buildings for a windbreaker.
Right.
You know, and it also helped when in the snow in the winter.
Yeah. Yeah, what about when it snowed in the wintertime? It probably got pretty deep out there.
It was pretty deep at times, and it was very cold. Temperature was very bad. It would get 20 below and stay that way for 6 weeks at a time, solid.
Yeah.
We had no refrigeration. You had no. Of course, we didn't have electricity, so we had no appliances.
Right.
There was nothing.
Yeah.
Why? If you wanted water, you took the bucket and went to the well and brought the pail of water back to the kitchen. You had it sitting there with a dipper in the bucket. If you wanted to drink, you just went and got one. You
Sure.
know?
Yeah.
Kind of like you see on those programs on television, Little House on the Prairie, something. That was exactly like it was. Of course, wood stove. You know, everything was simple. A kerosene lamp for light. Turn the wick up a little bit. You could see your way across the room. That was about all.
Yeah. Where'd you get the wood for the stove?
Well, we had we didn't have too much of it. They used like corn cobs for in the kitchen stove, you know, for cooking with in the summertime especially. You could make a quick hot fire to get the job done, you know, without heating up the house too much.
Sure.
And then we had a coal pot-bellied coal stove for heating the house in general, and they had coal fired. We'd in a real cold weather, they'd make a fire in that, and they could bank the fire, and it would hold. Coals would hold until morning.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And I remember we slept upstairs in the house, and it was so cold. Of course, there was no heat. We had a half a dozen quilts on it, and it was so cold at night. You have a chamber pot under the bed. If it had anything in it, it was froze solid by morning.
Oh yeah.
All the comforts of home.
Yeah, it'd make you want to.
You didn't run out to the outhouse with 20 below in your skivvy drawers.
You might have run back.
No, those were interesting days.
Oh, they would be. My dad said that his dad would sometimes have to tunnel out to the barn to feed the stock when it snowed so bad.
Oh, it did get that way.
Yeah.
I can remember now. Our place, I'd never seen that, but I seen it at a neighbor's place. The snow was so deep, you could drive a team and wagon under the snow. It was a tunnel between the buildings. They would drive through there. It was in a snow tunnel right in the yard, in their own yard.
Wow.
It was that deep.
It takes some
But
digging.
we had these big snow drifts, and us kids, you want it for a playhouse, you'd just walk in the side of one of these big snow drifts and shove the snow aside, and it was warm as toast in there when it'd be 20 below outside. It was very warm, and you have to take your big Mackinac off. It got too warm.
Yeah.
Well, it's 30 degrees.
Yeah.
Snow's 30 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very good.
You mentioned the coal. Did you have it delivered to your house, or did you go to get it somewhere?
I don't remember. Oh, I imagine they went to town and hauled it out in the wagon. Everything was horse,
Right.
transported by horses in a wagon.
Yeah.
All your grain and everything, hauled it to town to the granary.
And the milk, you had enough for yourself, of course, but then did you have enough for sale?
No, we didn't.
or-
We didn't sell. We didn't back there. We didn't sell the milk. We just evidently
Just
used,
for your own needs.
We used it, and of course, we had stock. The pigs and stuff you used. You got rid of any surplus. There was nothing wasted.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, it sounds like hard work, but it sounds like
It was for the folks. It was hard work.
But it's satisfying for
For
a
kids,
child
it was a good life.
because it
It really was. It
there's
was
a sense
good
of
life.
accomplishment there. Yeah. Work can be play if you approach it in the right frame of mind.
Yeah, everything was horse-drawn except my dad had a Model T. And in the winter, of course, they didn't have antifreeze, so they drained it. Every time you used it and got back, you drained the radiator so
Yeah.
it wouldn't freeze up.
Oh boy.
And if you had to go someplace in that freezing weather, they would get out and actually light a bonfire under the oil pan to warm up the oil enough that you could turn the engine over. I witnessed that.
Yeah. I remember putting a 100-watt light bulb on my engine to keep it warm at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't have the light bulb.
There isn't a light bulb, no. That's true.
I'll be improvised.
Right.
Oh boy.
You know, anything you see, these stories you hear in television about the way things were then, I lived that.
Yeah.
I've seen it. It's
Yeah.
kind of interesting to watch sometimes.
It would be.
Yeah.
It would be. Did you have any jobs on the farm that you just hated to do?
I suppose the least desirable one was cleaning out behind the cows.
Yeah.
It was a way of life.
Sure. And did you use any of that for fuel or anything?
No, but actually they used buffalo chips. They were still around on the plains. They was very good to using the cook stove.
Yeah.
They were these dried buffalo chips. They were good.
Huh.
Make a good quick fire. They burned good.
Yeah. What kind of wildlife was around that area at that time? You mentioned buffaloes.
We didn't generally have. The only thing we had was small stuff like gophers, and
Yeah.
had a million of gophers.
Yeah.
We'd shoot them with a 22, and I got big enough where we had a 22.
Yeah.
And we'd shoot gophers.
Do you have any bobcats or?
No, we didn't have
Rattlesnakes or
anything
anything
like
like
that. No,
Yeah.
we had a few snakes.
Yeah.
A few snakes, and
Did you have a dog that was your own? My dad had.
oh yes, we always had dogs.
Had a call.
I'm sure on the farm you always have dogs.
Yeah. Well, it sounded like pretty good life up to that point. I mean, you got the wide open spaces and a fast horse.
It was a good life for kids,
Yeah.
but the folks they worked their butt off from dawn to dark.
Sure did. Were there any streams nearby where you could go swimming?
No, we
or
didn't
fishing?
have a creek. I'd never seen a creek in them days.
Yeah. And then you cross the Pacific Ocean. That had to be.
Yeah, there
That'd
was
be
a
interesting.
lake down there. It was called Medicine Lake, which had therapeutic benefits. Get in that water.
Yeah.
It was that type of lake. But we'd take a drive sometime and go down just to look at it. You know, it was about
Sure.
sometimes just to see something different.
Yeah. Well, speaking of therapeutic benefits, what about taking baths in the house?
Well,
That had
I'll
to be
tell you,
quite a chore.
the way we did it, you had a wash tub,
Yeah.
and when it came bath day, we all took a bath in the same water.
Yeah.
You know, I don't remember the order of it, who got in first, but it was one got in and took their bath, and then the next one in the same water until they all got done. So
Yeah.
you got wet.
You got wet.
And what about storms in that area?
We had a lot of bad weather.
Yeah.
Just like now, they complain about now it's global warming or something causing it. We had it then.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
what their excuse was for it happening then. We
Is
had
it-
tornadoes. 1930, we had a tornado, took our big barn on the farm, just totally demolished it.
Did you have like a storm cellar?
We
where you
went in the cellar of the house was our storm cellar. In fact, we were headed for there when the blow hit. We could hear it coming.
Wow.
So Wes, I know we ordered us in. We run to the house and got down the cellar.
Yeah.
My dad got just back to the back door of the house when the barn went. It didn't hurt him, but he just barely got away from
Oh
it.
boy. That's a crazy thing about tornadoes. You're either this way or that way of getting hit by it and injured, or getting spared by it.
And the strange thing was, a storm like that, it'll come in and use its force just like you cut it with a knife edge. You know, it'll destroy totally everything on one side, and on the other it won't bother it.
Huh.
Like we had this storm in the path where it came into the barn. There was an old chicken house, abandoned chicken house that had, tinder dry cedar shingles on,
Yeah.
and right next to it we growed up a green living tree, about
Right.
it was about this big in diameter. Right by it, the force of that storm came in, and it totally destroyed that tree, just twisted it up and mangled it
Yeah.
like you'd run it through a grinder. It never touched a shingle on the roof of that old shed, which you could pick them up by a handful. It never touched it.
Oh my word.
Strange things like that.
That is strange. That is strange.
Oh, I've heard a lot of strange stories. My grandmother used to tell about it she came from Minnesota. She said it pulled the feathers out of chickens and drove them into the barn wall.
Holy smokes. Wow.
And there were strange deals about like taking those steel wagon tires off the wagon wheels
Yeah.
and wrapping them around trees. The
Huh.
force of the storm did that.
Yeah, that is amazing. Did you have a greater fear of storms after that particular tornado? I mean, you got pretty close to being hurt by that one.
No, that was the only. Well, that was really the only experience to it at our place.
Right. Yeah.
Later years, I had an occasion where we was back in Missouri, it's in the Ozarks, where my wife had a sister living there. We were staying there overnight, and lightning struck the tree right next to the house and killed a cow under it. The sound was just like, like being in the war when it hit.
Oh,
It didn't hit the house, but boy, it's acted like it. My wife said I physically jumped out of bed and hit the floor running.
Oh, I bet you
I
did.
thought I was back in the war and a bomb had
Oh,
just
yeah.
went off type thing,
Oh, sure.
So that was close.
Yeah. That's very
With a
close.
storm, yeah.
Flash boom.
Yeah.
What about on the prairie there? dust storms or
We had dust
prairie
storms,
fires?
yes. One day, you've heard of probably some of these stories on History Channel where they, during the dust storm days
Right.
where it would blot out the sun. I had that happen. I was in school one day, and at noon, it got so dark, it was like pitch dark. The dirt just blotted out the sun completely. Teacher closed school and sent us home. It was like midnight on a dark night.
Yeah. That would be so strange. I suppose a kid might say, well, this is neat, or or be terribly afraid by it. So you said you left the farm when you were about 12?
Yeah. After it got so bad, nothing would grow. There was no rain, and crops wouldn't grow. I remember one year they planted seed potatoes. They didn't sprout, so they dug them up and they ate them. They were fine. They were still edible.
Right. Yeah, sure.
That's pretty dry.
Yeah.
In back there, of course, we didn't have combines in those days, so there was a custom thrashing rig would come around, go from farm to farm to do that. After you got done, you had a huge straw stack.
Yeah.
Okay, most people lit a match to them. My dad didn't do that. He saved them. We had half a dozen of them around the farm. And the separators were very inefficient, so there'd be quite a bit of grain in the straw stack.
Ah.
So the cattle could eat that straw. They got quite a bit of nourishment out of it.
Yeah.
And they were full of pheasants. Hey, you could go around walk up haystack and shoot pheasants in the head with a .22. They were that friendly and common.
Huh. Wow. Well, your dad was a man ahead of his time. He used everything. Yeah. So where'd you go to school?
I went to school right there. In fact, our schoolhouse was only about a quarter of a mile from where we lived in Dakota.
Okay. Was it like a one-room schoolhouse?
It
with
was a
several
one-room
grades?
school with one-room school, one teacher, all 8 grades in the same room.
Okay.
In fact, I went to 8 grades of school in a one-room school, one teacher, everybody in the same room.
Huh.
I went about, 6. I went up to the 6th grade there, and when I came to Oregon, I still went to another country school, the same thing. It was still the same situation.
Yeah. How'd you like that style of schooling?
Well, it's got a lot of advantages.
Yeah. What were some
You have a
advantages?
constant review of last year. You're sitting in a row right next to where you sat last year,
Right.
so you get a review of what you learned last year as you went a little bit. It really was good.
I've heard fellows say that, and they can even get a little glimpse of what they're going to be doing.
And then we had a spelling contest every Friday. We'd have that. The whole school, all grades participated in the same deal.
Ooh.
So how did you do in that?
Oh, average. I
Yeah.
wasn't that great. I was average. Better, little, yeah. Oh, I'd be above average.
That would make you awful competitive, though, even as a first grader, because you're competing with the 8th grade.
Yeah.
Teacher had a lot more flexibility in those days.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they sure did.
I remember I took the 3rd and the 4th grade in the same year.
Same year.
I used up all the material there was for the 3rd grade, so the teacher
she
moved
had
me
you
up in the
for
4th grade, and I finished it. Yeah, never missed a beat.
Way it should be.
So I got through high school a year younger than most of the other kids.
Okay. Yeah. Now, in South Dakota, where was the nearest town?
We had a little town about 2.5 miles from this farm.
Okay.
But the place I was born was like 7 miles from where we lived.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess I was born in the hospital in them days, which was an abandoned little kind of farmhouse or a dwelling with a bed in it. That's what they called a hospital in them days.
I'm surprised you went to the hospital.
Yeah.
I am too, but that's where they tell me it happened.
Yeah, that is kind of unusual for that setting and for that time period.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you talked about your teacher. For the first 8 grades, you had basically 2 teachers. in the two different schools. Do you remember their names or anything about them?
No, I can't remember the name of, except in high school. I remember some of those teachers, but not the grade school teachers.
Yeah. Now, when did you actually move to Oregon?
In 1934.
34? Okay. And
Things were so bad back there in Dakota that my dad and another man, they decided they had heard stories about it being green and out on the coast. And so they hitchhiked on the railroad, to call them riding the rods, they used to call
sure.
it.
Oh, yeah.
Came out and looked it over.
Hitchhike.
And when they seen how it was, you know, the rivers had rivers around running and green grass and
Yeah.
trees growing and stuff, they said, hey, this is better than that. And they went back and had a auction sale and sold off everything. And we decided to head for Oregon. So we left there in a Model A Ford and a two-wheel trailer and 400 kids.
Yeah.
I can still remember that trip. At night, we'd stay in what they called a tourist cabin, which was
Right.
a little room with a bed in it and a pitcher and a pitcher of water and a bowl and a towel. That was the total equipment. $1 a night.
Well, that was big money back then.
All right, that's big money.
That
Yeah.
was then.
Yeah. It's almost like going across in a Conestoga wagon. It's
Yeah, it's about the same thing.
pretty close to it.
Pretty close.
Yeah. And where in Oregon did you settle?
In Silverton, that's the name of Silverton. It's
Again, on a farm.
which is located, let's see. Silverton is east of Salem. Let's see, 60. I don't know, 7,500 miles down there, I think, to Silverton, probably.
Yeah.
It's out of Woodburn and over and down a few miles. Yeah, it was south in the Willamette Valley.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
That's the flat level between the Coast Range and the
Right.
Cascades.
Yeah.
Call it the Willamette Valley. That's the name of the river, Willamette Valley,
Right.
Willamette River.
So, Ed, as a kid, what did you think of the transition from South Dakota to Oregon? Were you?
Well, it was a change. You know, we didn't have nothing, but some of the church people were farmers and had ranches or had orchards and stuff, and they told us we could come out and get all the windfall fruit that we wanted, and we'd go get it, gunny sacks full of it, and take it home. And us kids, we ate that like it was going out of style. You didn't have any fruit in Dakota,
Yeah.
none.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
The only thing that
Yeah.
would survive the winters was the crabapple.
Yeah.
No other fruit.
Hadn't thought about that yet. That's true.
Yeah. So everything was canned. No refrigeration, nothing.
Right.
The winter, my dad used to buy a case of frozen fish. Of course, you didn't have any freezer at home, but you just stick it in the snowbank.
Oh, sure.
It'd keep perfectly until you ate it up.
Yeah.
We had our own deep freeze.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Power goes out. What are we going to do with the refrigerator stuff? We'll stick it outside.
Yeah, in fact, my mother never had any kitchen appliances at the time I went in the service.
Oh, really? Huh.
Still, when I came back afterward, she had a stove and a refrigerator and stuff in her kitchen.
Now, when you moved to Oregon, it was to another farm?
Yes, the first winter we didn't, but he maneuvered to get us back on a small farm again. Yes, and during the war, he worked during the shipyards in Portland, Oregon, and made enough money to pay for it. Just had a
Okay.
small farm,
Right.
but it was in existence. It was a dairy farm, a small, raised the feed for the animals and stuff, you know, but it was in existence. There's no,
Right.
didn't make any money at it. They just existed.
Right.
It was horse farming too.
The house itself, same situation, no electricity?
Right,
or-
nothing.
Yeah. So it really hadn't changed
The
too
only
much
thing
that
was, Well, in Oregon, we had electricity. Yeah, that was just South Dakota. We didn't have
Yeah.
electricity. But we didn't. She didn't have appliances. We had electricity for lights, and we had a water system that was powered with the pump was run by electricity.
Okay.
You know, so they had running water in the house there.
Wow. That must have been like going into the Vanderbilt's mansion.
Yeah, yeah, it
Making
was
a
quite
transition.
a change. Quite a change.
Wow.
I'll tell you, the first winter in Silverton, we had no furniture. We lived close to the city dump where in them days they throwed all this out and burned it in a pile all the time.
Right.
But he got enough lumber there. He made a table. We had nail kegs for chairs.
Yeah.
They all came in wooden nail kegs. The nails came
Sure,
in wooden kegs.
Huh.
That was our furniture for that first winter.
Wow. I'd like to meet your dad sometime.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
I hope there is a afterlife when you can catch up to people like that. He sounds like a really interesting guy.
Yeah.
Now where'd you go to high school?
I went to high school in Oregon,
Okay.
a small town called Canby. I went all 4 years to there. It's about 20 odd miles south of Portland.
Get involved in any sports while you were in school?
No, I couldn't participate because we lived out in the country about 8 miles, and I couldn't stay after school to practice and stuff, so I didn't participate.
Yeah, quite often the case with the farm boys.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I had a neighbor kid. He was in sports, and he would hitchhike home every night after practice. You know,
That's right.
Yeah.
in them days,
Yeah.
you could hitchhike anywhere. Anybody would pick you up anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
It was automatic. You see
Yeah.
somebody walk down the road, you just stop, pick them up
Sure. Yeah. I miss
without
that.
fear of any repercussions.
Yeah, I miss that. Just the freedom that we had as kids, being able to just go anywhere and not worry about somebody dragging us off somewhere.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. You said you remember some of the teachers from high school. Were there any that kind of stood out to you that were very helpful or
Oh,
kind of looked up to? Or?
well, not particularly. No, I didn't have any special needs where I needed any extra attention. You know, I did pretty good in school.
What were your good subjects?
Well, actually, my number one was geometry.
Okay.
I had this top grade in this whole school in geometry.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'd take books home. I never even opened them, and I still got good grades. I graduated, I guess, up in the upper 10% of the class
Okay. Well,
without studying.
I don't. That doesn't surprise me. You come off as a fellow who would do well in school, and so you graduated in 40.
I graduated in 1940 from high
Okay.
school.
Yeah, you said you graduated a year sooner than
Well, I was a year younger than the normal graduate
younger. Yeah,
because I'd skipped a grade along the way.
yeah. When you were getting ready to graduate, did you have any idea what you wanted to do with your life?
No, but I had a neighbor. After the year after I got to high school, I had a neighbor that also went to the church we did. He worked for the railroad.
Ah,
He had his own little farm where he lived, about a mile from my folks, and he engaged me to do his farm work for him. He had 60 acres, and I went up there all this next following fall and winter. I plowed that whole thing with a single bottom walking plow, 60 acres. 60 acres. Now that's a lot of furrows.
yeah.
And put the crops in for it. Worked all winter. Okay. During that time, the war was scene was coming on, and the railroads were building up, and they were running a lot of trains, and they desperately needed to hire people.
Yeah.
So he decided I should learn to be a telegrapher, which I was. And so I'd go to his house and do his farm work at noon. I went in and had lunch with him, and he would give me a lesson in the Morse code, learning it.
and you're learning to be a telegrapher, and you want to tell me a story
I can
about...
enlarge a little bit on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So like I said before, when I was working for my neighbor there, he would give me lunch, and then he would give me a lesson in Morse code. Well, I got where I could receive and transmit slowly, just going through the
Sure.
procedure. And he got permission from the railroad to take me to work with him. And I went to work with him on my own time for many months.
Huh.
I didn't get a dime for it. I went in there and I learned to telegraph. And I learned the station work in the railroad station and all that along with it. And so one day we was copying a Western Union telegram, and he broke the man, which means, he missed a word and he had to open the key and get him to repeat it.
Oh.
I said, "What did you break him for?" He said, "You son of a bitch." He said, you're going to Portland in the morning." He sent me up to the head office to take the examination to go to work for the railroad as a telegrapher. And I did. I went that day and took the test. I was on the evening milk train to head down to another town about 100 miles, and I went to work that same night.
Holy smokes.
And so I worked there and on extra board around there for many months, and finally I bid in a midnight job, came back to my hometown, Depot, where the place where I'd learned,
Oh, okay.
and got the job.
Oh, wow.
And I worked there until I went in the service. And the railroad kept my job for me, and when I came back, I went to it. I returned to it.
Well, that's a pretty good start for a young man.
Yeah,
just
so
right out
then
of high school.
when I came back, I became a station agent, a depot agent, you might call. In them days, there was a depot every 5-6 miles down the road.
Yeah.
There was no freight trucks to haul your merchandise around and stuff. It was all in the box cars.
Yeah.
So there was agents all over. So then I bet as we went through it, it was a seniority deal, and every time there was a chance to advance, I'd bid on a job and get a better one, and I kept moving up, and pretty soon, I think it was in about the late 60s, they started consolidating everything, closing all these little depots all over, and they moved it all to a central point for the whole operation in Oregon, Eugene, Oregon, that's where I worked and retired at. And so due to my experience, I didn't have any college, and today you would have to have several years of college to get the job that I got.
Well, sure.
But the people that had to decide, they created a new position in this new terminal to oversee the whole operation, and I was awarded it based on my experience.
Wow. Yeah.
Their others applied, and they thought they were going to get it. They
Yeah.
didn't. Somebody at a high level, I knew the work. I had done it all. So it was good.
Yeah.
So I got up in there, and I had it was a job. They called it assistant agent. A railroad agent is one that is in charge of the station. It isn't like an insurance agent.
Right.
You are the one that runs the show.
Yeah.
So they made my job as assistant, which meant I'd done the work, and I signed my boss's name to it. And he liked that because he didn't have the experience. He got his job originally because he knew somebody. And he liked me. He was a very good friend. And so I became it.
Yeah.
So I worked there for 20 years before I retired.
So those extra days of working on your own without getting paid, that sure paid off in the long
Oh,
run,
yes,
didn't
yes,
it?
yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah. A lot of young men don't have that.
They would have a
perspective
fit
on
if
it.
they had to do that now.
Oh yeah. So that's a good lesson there, just to pass along to people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where were you when you heard about Pearl Harbor?
I was working for the railroad on the telegraph desk.
I wondered.
I was copying about a telegram, and it was addressed to a good friend of mine's mother advising him that he'd been killed in Pearl Harbor.
Oh, my word.
That's the first I heard of it.
Oh, my
And
word.
I had to deliver that telegram in the middle of the night,
Oh,
about 2 o'clock in the morning.
wow. That's the hard part of the job.
Yeah.
When you knocked on the door, did she know when she saw you that it was trouble?
Oh,
or
I
was
don't
it-
remember that, but I can't remember the details except that, you know, it hit her pretty hard.
Oh, yeah. Probably not so much then as it would have been later on in the war.
Yeah, right.
Because it would have been a more common thing to see
Yeah.
that. And, you know, the guy with the telegram could be bad news for you. What? That too. When you received a telegram, just in general, did people assume it was bad news? Or?
Oh, no, not normally. Uh-uh.
Yeah.
No, it's just a message, you know,
Yeah.
just like getting a letter.
Yeah. That is an amazing
See, we
invention.
didn't normally deliver them telegrams.
No.
You'd call them or something, you know. But when the war came on, the government, they paid. I think the government paid the railroad for each one they delivered to one of their messages.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah, you just don't call somebody up.
Oh no,
with a
you
thing
don't
like
call that kind of a message out.
No.
Of course, a lot of people didn't even have a phone them days either.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that's true too.
So they were very specific about getting the word out on those.
I'm going to back up just a little bit. Do you have any family stories from Norway that were handed down?
Not really. The only thing that's kind of interesting, this is from Norway. My brother took a trip over to Norway some years ago, and he was interested in genealogy and
Yeah.
looking at records, and they kept very good records. And he found the place that my great grandfather lived on before they migrated to America.
Okay.
And he went there, and he found out that our name isn't Aasland. This fellow had a little place there in Norway, and it was the name of his farm,
Ah, yeah.
which in Norway, Aasland means it's kind of like the foothills to a mountain range.
Okay.
The area right there.
All right.
That's Aasland. It's the Os is that, and then land is for just like land.
Right.
Aasland. See?
Yeah.
So he said our name, his real name was like Esplendal.
Huh.
Esplendal. Esplendal. That's what should have been my name. But he took that name of his farm here, and all of his descendants, everything in America are Aaslands.
Huh.
Okay.
I'll be
There
darned.
aren't a large number, but there's some around.
I've heard that before, that Norwegians often take the name of a farm.
Yeah, they did this.
Yeah.
In this case, they did that.
Yeah. Had one other fellow tell me that.
Another thing they used to do, when like a man would have a son, they would name him the first name of the dad and add the word son to it. If your dad's
Sure.
name was John, when you grow up, you would be your last name is Johnson.
Johnson, right. Yeah.
That's how you got all those Svensson, Johnson, Peterson,
Yeah.
Hansen, all them there. That's a Scandinavian way of passing the name down.
Sure.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
Makes sense, but I didn't know it.
Yeah, I think.
So anyway, at home the language was Norwegian.
Was it?
Oh yes, I
Okay.
grew up. It was Norwegian.
Okay. You still
My
speak?
folks could both talk English, but they used it commonly. My mother was a sergeant on the farm. She gave the word to go get when it's time to milk the cows. It's time to go put the hay down for them, put the feed out or whatever. You know,
And you
she.
knew when Norwegian come out, it was.
Yeah. She called it.
Ow.
She talked in Norwegian. Yeah, right.
Wow. Yeah.
And so I can't speak it fluently anymore because I haven't been around any Norwegians for 60 years.
Right. Yeah.
But I still could get by.
When
On one trip, I went on a Norwegian cruise ship, where on them about the upper 20 of the officers are from Norway, on a Norwegian cruise liner. So one day we had a deal where you can go through the line and meet the captain, shake hands with him, get your picture taken if you want or something. So here I go in line with him, and I reach up and shook hands with the captain, and he had no knowledge of my name
Yeah.
or what cabin I was in or anything, nothing. He looked at me, he spoke to me in Norwegian. He said, "Worden still, or still to till, Worden står det till," which generally means, "How are things with you today?" in Norwegian.
Right.
I told him, "Bra, bra, bra, bra." Yeah, which is a standard reply to it, So I guess I looked like a Norwegian. Men je snakker ikke så godt norsk, for jeg har ikke snakket norsk for mange ganger.
Well, I've heard it said that the best looking men in the world are Norwegians, so that's probably how he picked you out.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. I used to converse with an old neighbor. He moved back to Norway in his old age, and he'd write to me in Norwegian. He got so shaky that he couldn't hold the pen anymore. And then he had some niece of his or something used to write to me in Norwegian.
Huh.
When I was a kid, still at high school,
Yeah.
I was corresponding with this old gentleman in Norway in
Yeah.
Norwegian.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, it was. I've still got a couple of letters at home.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about your parents? When they wrote to somebody, did they write in Norwegian or?
Well, some, sure. I think, I'm sure they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Come in.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, the church I went to, right up to 1940, it was a Lutheran church, which they had, mostly Lutheran. That's the religion of Norway.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It was almost 100%. They had a few Catholics, but it was mostly Norwegian or Lutherans. So, so our congregation, there's one, the synod that we belonged to. I think it was called the Evangelical Lutheran Church. They were predominantly Scandinavian. We still had Norwegian service at 10 and English at 11.
Oh, really?
At the time I went in the service.
Yeah.
Come back, they had dropped it by the time I come back.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting lifestyle. Various ethnic groups have their own special things.
Where I lived in Dakota, they had these groups of ethnic groups all over. The Germans had theirs, the Polish had theirs, the Italians. It's just they all had their own separate little group.
Were there any Indian tribes in that area?
In South Dakota, yes, we lived about 20 miles from the big Sioux Indian reservation.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big one there. It's still there, I think.
Yeah.
Still there.
Yeah.
Fort Sisseton.
Did you
A friend
ever?
of mine goes up there every year.
Yeah, uh-huh.
You ever get up that way and see any of them?
No.
That's too far.
I've only been back South Dakota twice since I left there.
Yeah.
Our Marine reunion, we had a reunion in Rapid City here a few years ago.
Well, that'd be a good place.
Yeah, that would be a good place.
And I did go back there in 1958 on a trip, and I drove back through there around the part where we lived in the East Coast. I had an uncle still lived up there too.
Back in those days, did you hear much about the building of Mount Rushmore? Or did that news filter in? Or?
Well, that was the first time I went there. Mount Rushmore was there, but there was no facilities around. You could drive in from the highway and just pull up there and park, and you were standing there looking at it. There was nothing there besides the actual statue.
Yeah.
That was in '58.
That's an amazing place.
Yes, it is.
I've been there once, and the whole time you're there, you just can't take your eyes off of them.
No,
It's just an
but
amazing
like I
piece
say,
of
in
work.
them days, there was nothing else there.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something I miss too, the liberty of being able to just drive up to some place and walk in and without having to go through a dozen security checks. And
Same way with Yellowstone.
yeah.
I drove up there one night in Yellowstone. We was traveling right in front of Old Faithful, and stayed too long and went out I was needing gas and went out, and the Silver Station had closed for the night. So we had to stay. We had a station wagon, so I just we stayed there and opened up the sleeping bags. We stayed there that night, so till next morning we
Yeah.
station opened to get gas to go on down the road. That's before the earthquake where it ruined it, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
It was a pretty place then.
yeah. It was. It's beautiful.
Still is, but yeah,
Is in a different way.
it is a different way, yeah.
Yeah, majestic in a different way. So you, at some point, you left the railroad work and wound up getting involved in the military. Did you enlist or were you drafted?
Well, I was drafted in the service,
Okay.
but what I didn't know about, either once or twice, the railroad had a big file on me getting me deferred because my telegrapher job was critical to the moving of all these trains.
Oh,
You
sure.
know, they were desperate.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a very necessary job for
Well,
the
that's not
war
something,
effort.
you can't just pull somebody in off the street and say,
Well, no,
fill in
you
this
can't.
job.
It's something that's got to be manned 24 hours a day.
Sure.
I put out the orders for that handled the movement of trains. You know, it was single track. This is the order that you give a written order to the engineer that says you will meet such and such a train at such and such a point.
Right.
There can't be any mistakes
That's right.
because one guy's got to take the siding and let the other one by.
Yeah.
Depending on conditions, sometimes a certain type of train had preference, so whenever they met, the other train they met would have to take the siding automatically. But it was important.
Oh, yeah. It became increasingly
So
so,
then-
with the
So then
increasing
finally,
volume.
the draft board said no more. They said absolutely. They drawed the line. Say no more deferment.
Yeah.
So when I left there was 2 Mexican gals who was trained to take my job.
That sounds familiar.
You mean it's been going on that long?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
That hits
That's
really
when the
close to
Mexican
home.
laborers started coming up. That's where I got acquainted with the Mexicans. They said right before I went. Well, anyway, getting back to the draft.
Yeah.
So I did get drafted. So okay, I reported induction station. They gave me a choice of Army or Navy.
Yeah.
I picked Navy. So okay, I repeated to the Naval induction station. My name starts with AA. I was the first one in line.
Oh, yeah.
The guy said, we need some Marines Day. You want to volunteer? I said, I don't give a damn. He said, okay, sit over there. Next guy come up in line, he said, you want to join the Marines? Hell no. You sit over there. So it went back and forth a few times. I wonder if I made the right choice here. But I stayed with it. And evidently it was the right choice. I'm still
Must
here.
have been you're still
Oh, yeah.
there.
Yeah.
If I'd have taken the Navy, maybe my ship would have got sunk.
You never know.
You know, so it was to be, I guess.
Your first choice was Navy because your brothers were in the Navy, or what?
No,
would be the-
not particularly. I don't know. I just figured, well, you know, hey, at least I'll always have a bed to sleep in, as long as the ship's floating. You know, it's had advantages.
And a meal.
Okay. Yeah.
Navy always had.
And on a meal.
Like we went through the Okinawa deal. And every one of them guys that's here, you know, we never had a bed to sleep in the whole time. 83 days of combat. Never had a bed to sleep in.
Yeah.
We never ate in the mess hall. Our existence was in our backpack. You had a couple cans of rations.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
That's your tomorrow, right in your back.
Of course, it's almost like your family when they first moved to South Dakota.
Yeah.
A very similar
Yeah,
situation.
situation. But the modern military people, even like, okay, Iraq and that,
Right.
okay, you get an actual firefight, it's the same. They're shooting at you,
Yeah.
shooting back both ways. But they have the creature comforts. They get their job done. They go back to the barracks in a hot shower and a hot meal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, till they're ordered out again. You know, we didn't have that luxury. There was no rear area to go back to and recline. You never had a free day or night.
That's true.
You were subject to enemy fire 24 hours a day the whole time.
Yeah.
And we had it every night. They tried. I was in an artillery outfit. They attempted infiltration. You know, just about every night.
Sure.
Once in a while they bombed, a little bit of bombing. You know, strafing. Look, I try it, and I tell artillery unit is a good target.
Well, yeah, that's a lot of people think artillery, you're farther back of the line, the guys on the front line have it worse, but hey, if they're in range of you, you're in range of them.
You know, we always had 105s,
Okay.
but they were so close to the front line. You could, with the naked eye, you could stand there and watch the guys with the flamethrowers working in caves right ahead where they
Huh.
were firing at. You know, it was that close.
Wow.
We were right there.
Well, let's take you down the line here. When did you actually get drafted? 43 or 4? Or?
44 is when I went in. Yeah, 44.
Okay.
June 44. Let's see. Yeah, I believe it was June 44. God,
Okay.
I haven't got the exact date.
All right. And you made the right choice. You went to the Marine Corps.
Yeah, I made the right choice.
And where did they send you from there?
I went and took basic training in San Diego,
Okay. And,
training at Camp Pendleton. We were confined to quarters Christmas Day, waiting to be shipped out to Guadalcanal. So
oh,
we
boy.
went to Guadalcanal. And I was in several units. I got transferred around, unknown to me why. Some of it, I know I moved from one place to another by a written transfer, but my personal record don't show any record of it.
I'll be darned.
Like I was in the 29th Marines, that's
Right.
one of the
Right.
biggest infantry units.
Right.
I was in the 22nd, and suddenly I got transferred to the 15th. And of course, that's where I finished the war in.
Right. Yeah. So, well, basic training itself, was it pretty tough on you, or were you tough enough by
Oh,
your
hey, I
life
come off
experience?
the farm. I was used to working. No, the physical strain of it it wasn't a problem. Once, you know, when I first got in there, being a country hick around, I was a little scared of, hey, what's coming next, you know.
Yeah.
But after a short time, one day I thought, you know, what am I getting excited about? All these hundreds of thousand guys went through this thing, and they still here. They can do it, I can do it. And from then on, I just took it a day at a time. Whatever you do, yes, sir, I'll try.
Yeah.
You know, I did
Yeah.
what they asked me to.
Yeah.
And that made it a lot easier.
That's good. Good attitude. Yeah. So you got through your basic training. Did you have some advanced training before you shipped out? Or?
Yeah, we had advanced training in down San Diego. In fact, I had my first assignment. We were training on a 75 millimeter half track. Suddenly I got pulled off of that. I don't know why. There's no explanation. You know, in the military, you don't know when they look at the statistics. They need somebody. They just grab it. They give you a spec number, and that sometimes helps. I think it saved my neck a couple times.
Oh, really?
They temporarily. I had a little bit of clerical experience with my job on the railroad. See,
Right. Sure.
and it's a 403 spec, I think they called it. It's in the Marine Corps in my record, 403. All right. Sometime I know how I got off of when I was in Camp Pendleton, and we was watching a combat film there one day, and when it got done, they called out my name and another guy's, and said, "There's recon waiting for you outside." And so we went out there, and the guy first stop was at the brig. We thought, what the hell did we do now? But it was just to pick up another passenger. But anyway, the regiment had called me in to work on payroll. That's before we went overseas.
Right.
So I did. That's what I did. I worked in payroll there then until we embarked on ship. Then I was just back in the replacement draft.
Yeah. Well, you worked every job in the Marine Corps. How come you never made commandant?
Yeah.
You got the
I'll tell you,
experience.
my wife wanted me to stay in.
Yeah.
I could have had a good rank in the Marine Corps if I'd have.
Yeah.
I'm
Stayed
sure you could have.
But I think she liked the uniform. After I come back from Tsingtao, they sent me to Washington D.C.
Yeah.
And I was on a guard company for about 4 or 5 months
Oh.
there in Washington D.C. And I think she liked that.
Oh, yeah.
I wore the
The whole
uniform
thing.
there. What?
Yeah, dress blues and the whole thing then.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's when the old guard company was up in 23rd and Constitution, the old Navy building.
Right.
So she liked that. We lived there off base. And,
Sure. Yeah, we interviewed a guy in
you know,
Connecticut.
we had a reunion in Harrisburg, PA, and we went into Washington one day on a side trip, you know, and see the World War II memorial and stuff. The guard company invited our whole outfit to come in. We went through the chow line, Marine chow line at the 8th and I Street Guard Company.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then after lunch, this silent drill platoon
Right.
put a special show for us on the lawn there. Oh, that was fabulous.
Oh yeah,
That's
they
unique.
are.
Yeah.
Everywhere we go, the Marine Corps treats us good.
Well, yeah. Yeah, they do.
I went back to them in 1995. They had a little party in Dago. Well, it was commemorating the Okinawa deal 50th anniversary, and what was I going to say? Yeah. Well, anyway, we were down there. They established the 6th Division museum on base.
Okay.
Okay. So they took the Marine Corps buses, took us to our hotel and back and everything. They gave us complete run of the face. We went down there where the rifle range was, because they went back and have it back at Dago now instead of up at Camp Matthews where it was when I went to it. That we went up there and lived there a month, you know, a separate place. But anyway, we could walk right. The guys was laying there firing for a record. And you could walk right up to them. We had no restrictions.
Huh. Wow.
But the amazing thing was, the first when I seen that place, the field is full of porta potties, just like these portable toilets like you see at the fair. God, I couldn't believe this is a Marine Corps. God, all we had was a pipe in the ground with a funnel in it. That was our total sanitation.
It's called progress.
Yeah. And then we went through the chow line there in Dago at the regular Marine chow line.
Yeah.
And what was the amazing thing? The recruits that were still in boot camp, they had to go through the main line and the meat, the potatoes, and gravy line, you know, like we did when we went through, which was all there was. And then after you got out of there, they had every fast food line you could think of.
Huh.
Hamburgers, tacos, get what you want. I couldn't believe it.
We're getting so soft these days.
But they haven't relaxed the rules on the Marine Corps in their training.
Yeah.
They have not.
Yeah.
They tried it a few years ago to relax a little, and suddenly it was a disaster. So they went right back even tighter than it was.
Good for them. Good for them.
Good for that.
Yeah. After your training, you shipped out overseas. You went to Guadalcanal. You went straight to Guadalcanal?
We went straight to Guadalcanal nonstop on it. We were alone, no convoy. We had a converted. It was an old converted British passenger ship that would cruise at 28 knots. Now that was fast in those days.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they figured it was safer than in a convoy.
Yeah.
Which is true, I guess. We didn't get hit with no submarine caught us. So then we went to get through the canal. We got there I think it was right after Christmas, right after January. It took 14, it was a straight trip at that speed I'm telling you about. 14 days and over there nonstop, you know, from San Diego to Guadalcanal.
From a boy who grew up in South Dakota, what did you think of the ocean when you got out there and there was no land anywhere?
Well, I don't remember just what I thought of it. We used to go down then quite often when just driving down there for the day or something, you know. But it sure was different.
Yeah, it would be.
Because we didn't even have a creek where I lived in South Dakota.
Big difference.
And you know, I couldn't swim a stroke because hell, I'd never been in the water. Marine Corps, though, you swim. You learn to swim.
Yeah.
That's part of the training. You have to learn to swim. So I went to swimming class every day. Had an Olympic-sized pool there, and they had a requirement how far you had to swim to qualify.
Yeah.
Of course, I couldn't swim a drop, so they were very good about it. Put me in the shallow end when they had instructors that helped you to learn how to do it, and you know, we finally got to the point where I made it.
That's actually quite an achievement if you consider your foundation there. Yeah. Were you part of a unit while you were being shipped to Guadalcanal, or were you just
No,
sort of like
no,
all
just
replacements?
in a replacement draft.
Okay. And
In other words, so after you got there, they assigned you wherever they needed you.
okay. Now on Guadalcanal, where were you assigned initially?
Well, the first thing that happened when I went to Guadalcanal was they put me on mess duty for 30 days, which I hated. And then I was in two infantry outfits on the canal in further training. Then I got pulled out and I went to an outfit called the third Fib headquarters, which was a group that was planning the invasion of there was only 12 enlisted men in it, and the rest was all high officers.
Okay.
I knew where we were going before the troops did,
Did you really?
a month or two ahead.
Oh my word.
Even the officers didn't know until they got aboard ship.
Huh.
I remember when they announced it.
Yeah.
You know, everybody, it wasn't no surprise to me. I knew it all the time. They had in this room where I was working, they had the big map of the Okinawa Shima there where they were planning the operation.
I know for a long time they were batting back and forth between whether to invade Formosa or Okinawa.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, but
and
yeah.
They finally selected Okinawa. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, Okinawa was so close to Japan proper. It was a good base for the final assault.
It was.
You could have, an Air Force on Okinawa was a good launching point to the mainland.
Yeah, it sure would have been. Yeah. Did you saw maps of Okinawa before all of this? So you had a pretty good idea what it looked like and where everything was?
Oh, no, their intelligence was very meager.
Okay.
They didn't know what to expect. In fact, they told us aboard ship, your worst problem when you land on Okinawa may be the snakes, not the Japs. It's infested with snakes.
Okay.
Every crossroad you come to, there's a snake kit for their own population.
Huh. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Never heard that one.
But no, we didn't have any trouble, to my knowledge, of any of our people getting bitten by snakes and stuff. And it's a miracle, because hell, we slept on the ground.
Yeah, you'd think.
We never had a bed.
Of course, I guess if I was a snake, I wouldn't hang around there either.
No, they heard about those Marines. Yeah.
They're probably scared of the Marines.
Yeah, they heard about the Marines.
You went from Guadalcanal to Okinawa. Wasn't there a stop along the way?
We stopped at Ulithi Atoll, they call it.
Okay.
Island of Mogmog.
Mogmog.
Okay. They took us ashore, if you want to go, in a Higgins boat, and we had 6 bottles of beer, cold beer, per man, issued by the government. They gave us six bottles. I couldn't drink 6. I gave to some of the beer guzzlers what I couldn't drink. They had a black band there playing, jazz band playing too there. They had a little recreation for a day.
Oh no, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it was a small island. You could see it pretty easily in a few minutes.
Yeah, well, we went ashore in the old landing craft. And
yeah. I've heard some fellows say that during the transition they saw the aircraft carrier Franklin.
yes, we see that go by while we was there.
Yeah.
Burned out hulk, it was going by. Yeah, we seen the Franklin.
Yeah, I guess that was a real mess.
Oh yeah, it was burned out. It was just a hull, you might say.
Interviewed a guy in Texas who was on Franklin and went through all of that. It was a very brave captain, because they told the captain to scuttle it, and he said, no, I've got men down below. And they were drifting closer and closer to Japan the whole time, but they finally got the engines going and took it all the way back to New York. So you got back on ship again, and from
Then we got back on it and we went straight to Okinawa.
okay, no practice landings anywhere.
Oh no,
Okay. All right.
no, there were no practice landings.
Okay.
Period.
Yeah.
Them days were gone.
And April 1st, April Fool's Day, Easter Sunday,
Steak and eggs for breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. They give us steak and eggs for breakfast that final morning.
Yeah. It's always a bad sign.
Went over the side of the transport down a cargo net into a waiting Higgins boat.
Yeah.
They hauled us to the reef, and then we transferred to an Amtrak, and they drove us right up on dry land.
Huh.
We were not under fire when we landed. There, you could hear sporadic gunfire, but there was nothing noticeably coming at us directly.
Right.
Because the Japs had decided to do it that way. They had it fortified, but with their head dog decided let's let them get ashore, get a lot of them ashore in one spot, and then the target will be better to blow up more of them.
Yeah.
Well, they did the same thing on Iwo. You know, they let them all ashore, and then they just unloaded on them,
Right.
slaughtered them. That's the same thing they did there, only in Okinawa. It backfired.
That had to be an eerie feeling for a lot of guys. You go in and nothing's going on. It's like calm before the storm.
It was a little eerie. You know, you wonder. You know, hey, we're supposed to be some Japs out there shooting at you, and they weren't doing it yet.
Yeah.
You could hear a little of it, but there was nothing coming at you.
Yeah.
Directly.
Now, you went in with the 15th then, or were you with an infantry?
No. Actually, I was transferred to the 15th after I landed.
Okay. So you went in with the 29th or 22nd, or?
No, I went through with this outfit that was planning at this 3rd Fib Corps headquarters.
I see. Okay.
See, they went ashore, and then actually, I think their main duty was to supervise the unloading of supplies and equipment for the big volume of stuff to get the thing moving. And so as soon as they got that job done, they closed shop, and that's when I was transferred to the 15th.
Where'd you spend your first night? Were you at the airfield or?
On the ground, but we were close to Yontown Airfield.
Okay.
And there was nothing. I'll tell you, actually, what I did, we were on the ground. There was no place to go. There was some rocks around stuff. I scattered a few rocks, around kind of perimeter, around like a foxhole above ground. I did that the first night to figure, well, if there's some shrapnel coming that way, then maybe they'll hit the rocks instead of me.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
I heard that there was a Japanese pilot who didn't get the word, and he landed there after we had taken the airfield. Did you happen to see that, or?
Not that. Maybe not that particular one. We was close by. There was about 100 destroyed aircraft on this thing. That airfield was a mess at the time we first got there. They had shot down a lot of them.
Yeah.
One night the Japs launched a suicide raid of 5 planes that were Japs with demolitions that they planned on landing on Yontan and just do the damage wherever they could.
Yeah.
Well, they shot down 4 of them before they got there. The 5th one made a belly landing, and a few people up front of it were blood and guts all over the place. But the majority of them got out with their demolitions, and they destroyed an ungodly number of our planes, all fighters, and some multi-engine transports even on the ground there before they got them.
Wow.
We got one.
Yeah.
Those kamikazes. How do you stop a thing like that?
Now, on the way in, when our ship dropped anchor there, the ship next to us got hit by a kamikaze.
Oh my.
One on the had killed about half of people aboard.
My. Wow.
But our ship was not hit. It's just the luck of the draw. Why?
Yeah. Like your tornado.
Everybody that's there that gets killed in the war. It's just the luck of the draw.
Yeah.
Why does this guy stand here? He gets it and you don't. No explanation.
Yeah. After the initial landings, the 6th was sent northward to take the northern part of the
they
island,
first went north. Yeah.
Otobo Peninsula. But you were probably sent to the 15th about this time?
This was it it was shortly after we landed. I don't know, I don't remember the exact time of this. Like I said, the unit I was with, after they accomplished their job, they closed shop, and then I was transferred to the 15th. This was basically after the north was pretty well secured.
Okay.
The north was a lot lighter than what they expected.
So you didn't follow
the bunch
that
that went
operation?
north, they accomplished their goal with a minimum of casualties
Right.
and everything else.
Right.
They expected it to be heavier than it was. I think the north.
Could have been too.
The big force, the big stuff was like in the Sugar Loaf Hill there,
Yeah.
that Sherry Castle, they call it, that area there. That's where the big concentration of Japs was, and where they had the biggest trouble.
Okay. But you didn't actually follow them northward?
No, we
Okay.
didn't go north at
You
all.
pretty much stayed in the center of the island
No,
at
we
that point?
just went south.
Okay. About the time they were doing that operation, Ernie Pyle was killed on Aishima.
Right, I remember that.
Did you get the word of that?
Oh, yes, we heard about it.
How'd you hear about that? Just
I
word
don't
of
know,
mouth,
just
or-
word of mouth, I guess.
Yeah.
We just heard it. We didn't have a radio or anything to hear it. Somebody did, but no, I just heard it. I don't remember what the source of it was,
Yeah.
but I do remember hearing it.
Yeah. He was quite a guy.
Yep.
Hoosier boy too. Proud of that. Then you started to move south.
Right.
This time you were with the artillery unit.
Uh-huh.
And was this after the 6th was brought down on the Shuri line, or was it while the Army units were still getting bogged down on the Shuri line?
Well, I'll tell you, it was getting to the point where the Army had dug in, and they were just firing their artillery at them for, seems like weeks. And, the Japs were all dug in on the other side of the hill. They didn't kill anybody.
Right.
But the Army would not go after them on foot. So there was a convoy both directions on the main highway north. They put Army to the north to the USO, and it's an arrow the other way, Marines to the front line. They traded places with the Army.
Yeah.
And the Army would tear the signs down, the Marines would put them back up again. I seen that.
That's funny. Yeah.
I don't know much about what went on the East Coast, on the other side of the island.
Right. Yeah, after the realignment.
That was different. The 6th, we never went over there. That was the second, wasn't it? Second that was over there.
Yeah,
Second division.
The 27th Army Division.
Yeah.
They really got in a meat grinder. They weren't very well organized, and they pulled them out.
Yeah.
And then you had from the west to the east coast, you had 6th Marine, 1st Marine. I think it was 77th Army. They were the ones that took Aishima.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had Deadeye Division, the 96th, and then I think the 7th was on the other edge of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the Army's operation in it at all there,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, it was pretty tough all along the line. There wasn't
Oh, yeah.
too many soft places there at all. But
Oh, no. Well, a small island like that, there's no rear area to retreat to and relax in.
Yeah.
If you're on that island, you're a target.
That's true.
It was only 8 miles across there by where we landed around Yontan.
Okay.
It was that's all it was. Narrow.
Now, initially, did you fight from the Yontan area? Did you fire from there, or did you move further south to the Shuri
Oh, it
line?
wasn't right. I don't think right from the Yontan area. That we were. They are moved south a little bit beyond that before. Yeah. No.
And what kind of work were you doing at that time?
At the time I was with that unit, it was a non-combat deal there, and with that group I was telling you about, it was, I carried a rifle, but it was not, basically it was just kind of a colonel's orderly kind of a deal. I had a
Yeah.
Colonel Salzman there, was the name of him, that I kind of was reported to and did things for.
Yeah.
That was a kind of a paper
Yeah.
shuffle there.
We kind of ran out of paper after a while, I would think. Did you move in on Sugarloaf on that operation?
We never, we were right off the base of it there. It was, visible, but no, I was never not really involved in it, no.
Okay. What was the land like between where you were and Sugarloaf? Was it pretty much open plain or marshland?
It was kind of just kind of little rolling hills, and there was lots of vegetation, trees and grass, and kind of just, at peacetime, it's a nice, pleasant area.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't mountainous right in there at all. No, it was just kind of rolling. And then Sugarloaf Hill was not a very high hill.
Yeah.
Was right off to the side then there,
Yeah, it doesn't look like much just to look at it, but
I remember one day I had to drive a captain down through there in the mud with a 6x6. It was fairly level terrain there.
yeah. Off camera, you were talking about a strafing attack that you got involved in. When did that happen?
Well, I believe, I'm trying to remember. Oh, it was between Sugarloaf and Naha, somewhere in that area. One deal, yeah.
So it's a little farther down.
But they pulled that off every once in a while. They'd come some plane, didn't have nothing else to do, and they'd run over an area and get rid of their ammo before they tried to go back home.
Still,
that's what fighters did a lot. They'd get their job done. What they was doing, they'd empty their ammo in something before they went home.
Yeah. Still, put the fear of God in you to be in the midst of all that.
Yeah. You never know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
But I was lucky. I never got in the actual infantry.
No.
I carried a rifle the whole time I was there, whatever I was doing.
Yeah.
Day and night. You slept with the old M1 in the crook of your arm.
What about the return rounds coming back your way? Did you get very close to any of that, or
What do you mean the return?
the Japanese firing back at you? Did they ever?
Oh, there was
hit your-
yes. There was lead coming our way. Quite regular. Yeah. Right. But it wasn't necessary. It might not have been necessarily aimed at you directly, but it was coming at the facility you were with. That's, like I say, it's a good target overall. Just to shoot at it, they figure, well, they're going to get somebody.
Yeah.
I had one deal at one time. Me and another guy, we was right shoulder to shoulder almost, and a slug came between us, and it spent itself in the fender of a disabled motorcycle that was laying there. The bullet went around in the fender of that. So it was basically a stray. Built. I think it was a machine gun bullet that had came from back yonder a little ways, and it went right there. It missed us. I kicked my rear lately that I didn't retrieve that bullet and keep it as a souvenir.
That would make me
There's one that
take
went
notice.
by that didn't hit you. It's kind of.
Oh boy. Yeah.
But it was close. We were just sitting shoulder to shoulder, and it had come right between us.
I bet your mom was on her knees when that happened.
Yeah, it must have been. Maybe that was it.
That could have been it.
That might have been it. Yeah.
Wow. What about snipers and infiltrators coming into your base camp?
Now snipers. We as far as with the artillery unit, I don't recall hardly any the sniper fire. That wasn't kind of where they worked mostly.
Yeah.
They were more after the infantry were type thing. More I think more were
I would think
somebody was directly shooting at them.
But they're willing to kill anybody.
Yeah,
so.
right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What about infiltrations? Did they?
Of course. Snipers. Of course, they have specific targets usually.
Right.
Somebody that's critical, somebody that's impeding their progress or whatever.
Yeah. Did they try to come in at night into?
We had infiltration. Quite frequently at night. Yeah. There'd be shooting after dark.
Yeah.
And shoot both ways. The thing is, you wouldn't dare pursue them, or even really attack them directly firing. Then they follow the muzzle flashes of your gun, they'll shoot you. You're putting yourself in extreme danger if you have somebody like that that's infiltrating and shooting at you after dark.
Yeah.
You better know what you're shooting at.
Oh, you bet. Yeah. A lot of the infantry guys would set up, cans and wire and stuff that would make noise around. Did you do similar?
No, we
things
didn't. We didn't really do it. I don't know. We just mostly, where I was involved, mostly just on foot patrol with your weapon, just watching out to see, try to prevent anybody from sneaking in.
Sure. Okay.
God, I know one night we had a couple of Japs with demolition strapped to them. They got right to the CO. The CO had a tent with our outfit,
Yeah.
They had the luxury of a tent. They got right up to the entrance to the tent when the sentries shot them. Next morning they was still laying there dead. I seen them there, and there was one guy. He got out his K-bar, stood there, and had his buddy take a picture up over one of them dead ones. I think you've seen some of that, quite a bit of that. Somebody put on a show, take a picture back home. Look, here's what I did.
Well, that's a close call.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be sleeping in the tent anymore after that.
If I was the CO, I'd double the sentries at least.
Yeah, that's pretty close. Did you see many civilians passing through that area?
Oh, there was a lot of them. Lots of them was killed. I think the first day ashore, it came place to place where they had these civilians themselves was digging this mass grave, a big pit. Looks to be half size of a football field. Big, boy. I don't know, it was big. It was big, throwing the dead bodies in by the hundreds. They're people. God, it's gruesome.
Oh, yeah. I've heard it said that there are more civilians died on Okinawa than in the two atomic
more than Japs,
blasts.
yeah, right. Yeah. Whenever any contact I had with them, though, they were friendly to us.
Yeah.
Because the Japs treated them so bad, they didn't have no love for them.
Right. And did any Japanese surrender to your unit that you're aware of?
Not that I know of.
Yeah. I mean, so few did.
Oh, just a handful.
Yeah. Now, after you were able to push past Sugarloaf, you were going into the Naha region.
Yeah.
And you were saying something about you came across a landmine, a tape measure landmine?
Yeah, it was a tape measure landmine.
Yeah.
Out there. This stupid buddy of mine, he took his rifle barrel and punched the button on it. Down, I believe it was that same, there was a little creek through the area.
Yeah.
There was a stretcher in the water, a stretcher with a body on it.
Yeah.
And the litter carriers, one on each end, they was all laying there dead. They'd been trying to evacuate a wounded across the creek and get out of the area, and they shot them all. And they were laying there in the water. I every once in a while I can see the image of that.
Huh. Were they Japanese or
Japanese?
Marines?
No, Japanese.
Yeah.
And I did see one deal one day. I believe it was in that moment because there was a creek there. When we first set up and there wasn't any fire going on around, and this guy, one of our guys, he goes down there with his towel to the creek, going to wash off a little bit. Well, there was a Jap come down from the opposite, on the other side of the creek, with the same idea, and they both seen each other about the same time, and they turned around and took off opposite directions as fast as they could go. Neither one of them had a weapon, and they just run. It was kind of funny.
I guess they could have flipped their towels at each other.
It was funny. Yeah. There were funny moments a little bit once in a while.
Well, there is. Everybody thinks war is so serious, but there's some funny stuff too. Yeah, about have to be.
I know there was a slope right down in that area where I think it was when we moved into the Naha area. There was a side hill there that was just strewed with body parts and blood and guts. Geez, I never seen nothing like it. It was terrible. I don't know what the cause of all that destruction was, but it was, there'd be a a shoe with a piece of a greasy ankle stick out of it. There'd be
Yeah.
somebody's gizzard that are laying here, somebody's heart laying here.
Yeah.
Just body parts that's like hamburger.
That sounds like naval shelling to me.
It could have been. It was an artillery type thing. I think
Right.
where something was blasted, it just tore them to hell.
Wow. Yeah. It's hard to get your
Gruesome.
mind around a thing like that. You're seeing it, and it's not real, and yet
No.
it is real. And,
Yeah. You can see all the pictures you want to, or all that stuff, or read all the stories. It isn't the same as seeing it.
Yeah.
Just like in China, after the war, we got up there. There were the Chinamen were around there, our chow line, you know, and we had a GI can where you dump your empty your mess gear and stuff, you know, the pieces of uneaten food and the thing, GI can standing full of slop, you know.
Yeah.
And one of them Chinamen go up there and they'd reach their arm all the way down to the bottom where they could find a handful of thick enough stuff they could pull it up and then eat it.
Yeah.
You know, you got to see that stuff to, you know, for it to soak in.
Yeah. Yeah.
It went on, and you'd throw out a piece of that hardtack to the kids. They'd fight over it for like I mean, they were hungry, so they were fighting that for real.
Oh,
to
yeah.
get to who could get that piece, one of them little damn things that we were throwing away.
Oh, yeah. It's hard to fathom being in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Naha itself is pretty tore up, wasn't it?
Oh, there wasn't a building stand. I think there was just the corner of a concrete building, just is about all I remember seeing standing there. It was just total destruction.
Did you set up any artillery in Naha?
No. Oh, it wasn't right in the town. It was the edge of town. We were right there, sort
Okay.
of, you know.
So you set up a fire base there. I know that we did an amphibious landing on the Iroko Peninsula. Did you get involved with any of that?
No, not.
Well, not the amphibious part, but I mean, did you follow that invasion?
No, I wasn't involved in that.
Is the Naha region, is that about as far south as you got?
That was as far as we went south. Was just the town of Naha. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Because that was right, awful close to the end of the hostilities when
It was, yeah.
that Naha. That was our last stand.
And General Buckner gets himself killed.
Yeah.
Did you get the word on that?
Oh yeah, we heard about it.
I think he died like 2 days before.
Yeah, we was about a week in there when Roosevelt died.
Yeah.
We had just landed. We just hadn't been there very long when he got the word of him dying.
Yeah, well, April 12th maybe?
Yeah, it was right
Yeah,
first part of April. I can't remember just the date, but you're right, somewhere in that.
Had to be a bit kind of a shock because he's probably the only president you knew.
Well, just about, yeah. We had the tail end of Hoover, but he was basically the only one you knew about.
Yeah. And then you got the word VE Day in Europe while you were there.
Yeah, we heard about that. That was
Was it just sort of a, oh well, doesn't affect
well,
us?
it was good news, but it didn't change our situation.
You weren't celebrating much.
No, it wasn't time to celebrate yet.
I've got this picture at home of a bunch of guys in the 77th listening to that VE Day, and they're drenched in rain and mud, and not one of them look happy about it. It was no big deal to them. So you finally got to the point where the island was declared secure.
Uh-huh.
Did you withdraw from the Naha region, or pretty much stay there? Where'd you go?
Oh, we didn't. I believed if I remember right, I think we just kind of stayed there and buttoned it up there. You know, we was there a while after that. You know, cleaning up the trash, and they're getting rid of our dirty clothes, and we never had any laundry facilities the whole time. You know.
Right.
In fact, a good portion of us, I think, we threw the clothes we were wearing away, all of them. And they just give us a new issue of new clothes. So we left there to go to China. We had our new dungarees on.
Yeah.
No, there was no bath facilities or nothing.
Yeah.
We didn't have an improvised shower even. You know, we must have been a dirty bunch of so-and-sos. Sure, we didn't have much change of clothes, I'll tell you. There wasn't no room in that backpack for unimportant things like that. You know, we had to make room for ammo and a little bit of food.
Yeah. How'd you do on food? Did you have a pretty good supply? Or
C rations.
C rations? Okay.
Army had 10 and 1. We had C rations. We still had the old World War I C rations.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Although our mess officers stole some from an Army depot and gave us a few 10 and 1s there at one time. God, I thought that was pig's heaven. Compared to what we'd been eating, it was pretty bad.
Yeah. Were you getting a regular supply of them? Did you ever get
Oh
to the
yeah,
point where you just
we
ran
didn't ever
out?
go. I never went hungry.
Okay.
We had something to eat all the time.
Yeah. Now, as an artillery unit, were there any times when you called in naval gunfire?
Well, I'm sure they had a. I was talking to somebody down in the hospitality room that was in that area, and he was telling about what he was telling about. They did have a group that was when they needed it, this guy himself, he said it was his job. He had certain people to notify whenever he got the request where somebody needed aid, who to direct it to get the naval gunfire to come in and to give them a location and all that. Yeah, they had forces that did that. That was their job.
Yeah.
I wasn't near that stuff. But there were some people that did have that job.
The job of the forward observer would be kind of, you're hanging out there and
Well, that's a dangerous job, that forward observer. You know,
Yeah.
you're in across enemy lines,
Yeah.
behind enemy lines on that, to get up close enough to see the effect of the gunfire.
Yeah. What about the communication between the forward observer and the artillery itself? Was it
Well,
wire?
there's where you got the code talkers came in.
Okay.
You've heard about them.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right, they had their own language. They could openly talk on a phone line.
Huh.
Had a language that was not written. They could not decipher it.
Yeah.
So they could call them, hey, drop one here on, or move it over so many degrees this way, put it, so forth. They could just openly talk on the phone.
Well, they were handy to have around.
God, they were good. We had some used to come to our reunions.
Yeah.
We had them in our outfit.
Yeah.
They hasn't been here for several reunions now. I don't know if they're dead or what, but they're Navajos from Arizona,
Sure. It was regular phone wire as opposed
Yeah,
to
just
radio?
they strung, the signal dropped, just run just a regular phone line.
Yeah.
Or I don't think they used much radio on that. They could have, on the radio, but I think it was mostly just phone over a fixed line.
Radios weren't all that reliable
Yeah.
then either.
No, they weren't that
over
good.
that
No, it
terrain.
was better. And these guys had their own language plus a code in the language. There was no way they could decipher it.
Yeah.
They say that operation was total success.
Yeah.
There wasn't a case of the Japs ever being able to decipher it at all.
Yeah, that was pretty ingenious, the guy that came up with that and thought to use that.
There was a lot of thousands of those Navajos Indians were in the service and did that.
Yeah.
They really did a good job.
Did you have a hard time maintaining the wire? I know artillery would tear it up, or the enemy would clip it, or whatever.
Well, it always happened, but you didn't have any permanent lines set up, because you didn't stay in one spot long enough to really set up anything permanent. You just strung it and used it, and I don't know. I wasn't in that directly, so I don't know what the success rate was or how long it worked. I just don't know.
Okay.
I won't make up stories because I just don't know.
Don't need to. I appreciate what
Yeah.
you're giving us. Now, when you have everything packed up, cleaned up, they took you off the island. Where at Naha, did you move somewhere else to go off the island?
No, we got off the island right where we were, basically off the same side we landed on, as far as I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would make sense because that was a port area.
It might have been.
Wait a
I don't know. We had to go on a boat to go back to the ship. So I just don't remember really the starting point. I remember we was there on the coast, and And when we got prepared, we had a big side hill there. I know we threw all these old clothes away and all that kind of stuff.
Didn't care, we were getting off the island.
Yeah. I know it's something I was going to ask you. You're talking about all those body parts and what have you. I've heard people say that the smell was just horrible on
Well, yeah, it gets pretty raunchy. There were, of course, artillery. You're a couple days behind the infantry,
Right.
And in warm weather, dead body don't take long to start smelling.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, there were, when you'd come upon some in that condition, they were so raunchy you couldn't get close enough to throw a shovel of dirt on them.
Yeah.
So what we did many times, we'd sneak up and throw a little gasoline on them, just to go up there and hold your nose and put the little gasoline, light a match, and it would kind of
Cremation.
burn off the top layer of stink so that you could get up and put some dirt on them.
Huh.
It was that bad. It was terrible.
Yeah.
There's nothing stinks worse than the human flesh,
Yeah.
decayed human flesh.
I've heard fellows say that they would dig a little hole in the dirt just to try to get a little fresh air or something
Yeah.
that smelled different.
God.
That would be awful. Were we pretty successful at getting the Marine bodies off the field?
They were,
in a
well,
timely
yeah, they
manner?
went all out to remove the bodies from the battlefield. Yeah, they did that. That's, them people needed to get a medal, boy, for their, of course, they drag most of them out during the battle if they can,
Sure.
get right there under fire.
Sure.
Them people are real heroes.
Yeah. Not necessarily corpsmen, it sounds like.
Well,
but
well,
just anybody.
it isn't just corpsmen. They help each other, help their buddies too.
Right.
But the corpsmen get in there and try to help those that can be helped.
Yeah. Yeah, they're always putting themselves in greater danger than anybody. And just
Well,
to
they
save a guy's
have
life.
no weapons.
Yeah.
They can't defend themselves. They just go do what they got to do without regards for their own safety.
Yeah. Got a lot of respect for those fellows.
Yeah, I do. The people we had some used to come to our unit. I don't know if there's any right now. That was actually battlefield corpsmen, and boy, people just worshipped them. Boy, I know we had one. I think his name's Hutch from Florida. He's from Florida. Lives in Florida, I think. I don't know if he's still alive or not. He's not here this year, but he was the last couple of reunions. He was still coming. They're well respected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, you got off the island, and they take you to Guam, or
We went to Guam.
okay.
Yeah.
Of course, by this time Guam was secured. It was
Right,
just
right,
kind
yeah,
of
that was
Guadalcanal was
secured.
at that point. and-
So this was just an uneventful trip from
Right.
wherever we embarked to go straight to Guam. That was just a little ride aboard ship.
Yeah. And while you were on Guam, did you start training for the invasion of Japan?
Yes, that was continuing there on Guam.
Yeah.
Now again on Guam, when we got back there and the battle's over, I got back in payroll. I had the experience. See,
yeah.
during the battle, that didn't exist. But
Right.
but after I got back to Guam, the sergeant major liked me. At that time, I didn't even have a stripe on, and some of these I've heard everybody had to come through me for payroll from line sergeants on down, And I had one of them ask me. He'd make them stand at attention when they talked to me. This is Sergeant Major. He hated the spit and polish rules and regulations. He would, and then after they said, "What's your rank?" I didn't have any. I said, "I don't have any." I was telling the truth, but they thought I was just joking.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how the pull I had. I did not stand on Guam. I did not stand general's inspection.
Oh, really?
Now you got to be somebody to be in that category.
Well, I'd reckon.
I was handling the payroll alone for a whole battalion.
Oh my. That
You
sounds
just
like
tell
work.
the captain, I got to work. I got to stay here and take care of the payroll.
Huh.
He's okay. That was just on Guam, yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Wow.
fun.
After being through Okinawa, what did you think your odds were of making it through the invasion of the home islands?
Oh, I think everybody thought that if we had to make that actual landing on Japan proper, our chances were very slight.
Yeah.
It would have been. Our group, we would have been in the first wave practically.
Yeah.
As soon as they was able to land the equipment, you know.
Right. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, the worst would have been is the ships anchored offshore that would be dispatching the equipment.
Mm.
You know, they would be sitting like sitting ducks in the harbor, and Japan would have thrown everything they had at
Oh
you.
yeah. Yeah.
It would have been a slaughter.
Well, you mentioned the
It
kamikaze
would have been worse
earlier.
than Okinawa
Yeah.
with the kamikaze,
Yeah.
because you're right there.
Yeah. Yeah, they saved their best for last.
Yeah. No, we didn't. I don't know. We didn't have much time to brood on it in a way, but the general consensus was that if we got to go there, it's going to be bad.
Yeah. Do you think your opinion of that changed after having been to Okinawa? Because you hadn't been in combat before.
Well, that's right. I had never been there before. Oh, I don't know. You just knew, you seen what happened there, and when you get right to the homeland where these people are actually defending their own soil,
Right.
you know, it would have intensified the resistance.
Right. Had you heard of any civilians committing suicide on Okinawa at the end of the battle?
Oh, I seemed like we heard rumors about it. I don't know what was confirmed about that. I believe there were a few, but it wasn't wholesale.
Right. Yeah. I didn't know what kind of word you were getting of that. So anyway, you're on Guam, doing the payroll, living the life of Riley, and not saluting anybody at that point.
I didn't have to. I was first in line for the chow line too.
Oh.
On Guam, we had a chow line there.
You must have been paying those guys good.
Oh yeah, right. I did. Yeah, no.
Roll $35.
And it's probably while you were on Guam that you heard about the dropping of the atomic bomb.
Oh yeah. We were sitting there in our tent village we lived in. Yeah.
But you probably had no concept of an atomic bomb. It's probably just you just heard it was a big bomb.
Nobody had even
Yeah.
knew about it, you know.
Yeah.
And then it was quite quick. They told us, hey, our group, hey, you're going to Japan for the occupation after they surrendered, after they dropped it and they surrendered.
Yeah.
Got that word? They told our outfit, pack up, we're going. And middle of the night, they suddenly came in and moved the line over 2 tent rows and cut us off, and we went to Tsingtao instead of Japan.
Oh.
I would have liked to gone to Japan.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
hear about the American, he went into after the occupation, one of the occupation troops, he went into Tokyo there and he found there was a little shop that was still standing, and it had a Japanese gal behind the counter, and he went in there, and neither one of them could talk the other's language, and so he unbuttoned his shirt, and he had American flag tattooed on his shirt, and he said, "Me American."
Yeah.
She opened up her blouse, she says, "Nipponese."
I don't get it. That's funny.
Last night in the hospitality room, I was telling that the guy there, him and his wife was sitting there, and I told that story, and I said that was Ed. That was who was sitting there. He said that Marine was Ed. He laughed. His wife just laughed.
So, Tsingtao, you went there for the repatriation of the Japanese troops to get them out of China and back
Well, they
home.
accept their surrender
And to
officially.
accept the surrender and make the transition
Yeah.
there. What'd you think of the Chinese people?
Oh, I don't know. They were friendly to us because they were, at that time, Chiang Kai-shek was in charge, technically in charge.
Yeah.
He was in charge of the town yet,
Yeah.
but it was surrounded by commies.
Okay.
Right outside, you couldn't leave town. I know me and another guy, we started out the street out toward the edge of one town. We met fixed bayonets from the old communist soldiers.
Mm.
Man, I'll tell you, we turned around right quick.
Yeah.
Got the hell back in town.
Well, you couldn't have shot at them if
Oh
you,
no, we
yeah.
did well. We weren't carrying weapons at that time
Yeah.
anyway. I don't think
Yeah.
there was no war going on. We weren't fighting anybody then. No, I don't know. We didn't carry weapons in Tsingtao.
Yeah. That been an interesting situation. I mean, you're right you're right in the middle of domestic dispute there.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Were the Japanese pretty good about just laying down their arms and going home? And did they?
I think. Well, I think
they
it's,
hostile
after
toward
the
you, or-
actual surrender. I don't. Yeah, I think it was quite orderly.
Yeah.
I didn't hear of any much commotion going on.
Yeah.
I know when they signed the peace treaty aboard the Missouri. Have you ever been to seen the Missouri?
No, I haven't.
It's over in Hawaii now. I've been on it a couple times.
Yeah.
But the guy, I took it. They had a tour of it. You know, and you can go. It's a museum there, and there was an active duty Navy guy there who was acted as our guide, and he said when they had this actual surrender, we still didn't trust the Japs. So when they went in there to sign that, they were. They had a flyby of all of our fighters went by.
Yeah.
And then I guess they put every fighter plane they had in there and went to come over in a big flight over it. then they brought a fleet of B-29s over with the bomb bay doors open.
Oh.
They were ready to obliterate the whole thing if necessary.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. And there wasn't any incident about, from the Japs.
Yeah.
They signed it and went home.
Yeah, I think I would have stayed quiet too.
Yeah,
Looking at that. Of course, they didn't know, but what would be another atomic bomb? You know?
Well, no, that's right. They didn't know that we only had 2 of them. They had to make some more.
Yeah. So you're in Tsingtao for about 6 months or so, or?
Oh no. And in fact, I left early.
Okay.
They had a deal come out from headquarters Marine Corps where you could go back there and I forget what kind of work it was. And they would discharge you and you'd go to work for civil service or something. Something like that. I put in an application, they accepted it, and they sent me back there after I got the details of it. I changed my mind. I didn't go into it.
Yeah.
I just stayed into the Corps. They assigned me to a guard company. Several months over there.
Yeah. And then.
The guy says, "Well, I'll just have to send you back." I said, "Okay." I didn't argue with him. They didn't want to send me back over there.
Sure. Yeah. So you finally left China and just came straight back to San Francisco?
Yeah, then
or?
we go up to Seattle,
Okay. Yeah.
up through the streets of Juan de Fuca,
Okay. Sure.
up to the naval facility in Seattle.
Yeah. Must have looked awfully good to be back home again.
Yeah, it was fine. Yeah. We got back into Seattle there. I think it was a naval facility. They had a bar there, so we went in to get a bar. I looked young in them days. I was old. I was 21. I had the ID.
Oh, yeah.
So I went up there to get a beer, and this dang broad wanted to see my ID. I told the old broad real loud where people could hear it. I said, I'm old enough and I've got the ID, but I'll be damned if I'm going to show it to you.
Yeah.
Uncle Sam had just given me 6 cans of beer over on Ulysses Atoll.
Yeah.
Now here you can't sell me 1 beer. Come
Yeah.
on now, after where we've been. Yeah, come on now.
Yeah, she
There
should have
have
known
been the
that.
stinking rules for one trip.
Yeah.
We just got off the boat coming in to the naval building.
Yeah.
No, I did. I didn't buy any beer from her either. Hell with you. Well, I won't be insulted by showing.
She got back in Washington, and did you muster out from there? Or?
No, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Uh-huh.
I became real friendly with the sergeant major in charge of the operation.
Yeah.
So when it came time to get discharged, he sent me to Bainbridge, Maryland to get discharged, so I got travel allowance all the way back to Portland, Oregon. He should have sent me back to Portland to get discharged where I went in.
Yeah.
Of course, it was really cheaper for the government
Yeah.
to do it that way, but it's not that's not the way the rules are.
That's interesting. That's good. You mentioned your wife.
Yeah.
What is your wife's name?
Naoma.
Naomi? And what was her maiden name?
Well, you mean, yeah, her maiden name is Scott.
Okay. And where'd you meet her?
I met her at their hometown in Oregon.
Okay.
It was the whole, yeah, well, it was the hometown, yeah, about 20 miles south of Portland.
Were you still in high school when you met her? Or?
No, it was after, I guess, it was after I went to work for the railroad.
Okay.
I met her there. It was about in 40, it was just before the, let's see. I went to work for the railroad just before Pearl Harbor, July 9th, and then this happened December 7th. So it was, I think, possibly in that era right there.
Okay.
I've got, let's see, November. Well, it was in November. That's when I got married. I got married while I was just while I was in San Diego. Was still in
Still in boot camp?
I was in Camp Pendleton.
All right.
Still in training here before I went to disembark to Guadalcanal. So she came down there and we got married down there
How about that?
just before I went over.
Was it a long, fancy proposal? Did she get down on one knee and beg you to marry her?
No, she got in the bus and came down to a special trip for the occasion. We had I think it was a Methodist preacher married us there, and him and his wife was a witness. Simple.
Yeah. It's quite a sacrifice for a Lutheran.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
So, how long have you been married?
Well, she's been gone for 15 years.
Oh, okay.
We made almost 51 years.
Oh, my. Oh, my.
That's great.
Got your golden one in
And
anyway.
she got, oh yeah, we just had our golden one in.
And I know you have children. What are their names and a little something about
One
each
of,
one?
one of them is here, Sharon.
Okay.
You've seen her? You remember?
Yeah.
Of course, this is Sharon. The gal's here. That Tiffany, she's my granddaughter. That's Sharon's daughter.
Okay. Yeah. And who are your other children?
I had one other. Well, actually, my wife. It was a stepson, really. I had
Okay.
a stepson. I only had one daughter myself.
Okay.
But he was 1 year old when I married her. So he grew up with me. He didn't know the difference that
Yeah.
I wasn't his real father.
Yeah.
We had a good relationship.
That's good. That's
It
good.
worked good. And then, let's see, how many years ago was it? He was he had a nice family. He had a successful business. He was a veteran of Korea and Vietnam, too,
Oh, my.
in the military.
Yeah.
And I don't know, one day he just out and went in the backyard and shot himself.
Oh.
Nobody knows any reason why it happened.
Yeah.
Just a total surprise.
Yeah.
He wasn't a heavy boozer or on drugs or anything. I just don't know. We never will know.
I know what that's like because
So-
I had a family member go that way, and that's you just want to make it go away or come back or go back in time and do something to fix it, and you just can't.
But that's been, let's see, how many years ago was that? Sharon could tell you. That dates escape me. Anyway, it happened. So I've got Sharon and her descendants and his too on the other side of the family. We're still in good relations with his wife, and and stuff. She's up my age too, practically now.
That's good that you were able to just kind of blend together.
Yeah,
like
we
that.
do. There's no friction.
Good for both sides.
We always had associated with each other, had get-togethers every once in a while.
Yeah. Hey, you said your wife wanted you to stay in the Marine Corps.
Yes, she did. When they was pushing me hard to stay.
Yeah. Do you regret that you didn't?
Well, I don't know. I just thing is, I had my job waiting for me with the railroad. My seniority, it brought it with me and everything. Overall, I just thought maybe would be the most practical. And I didn't relish the idea of raising kids with the military life. It's just
That's true.
you give up a lot to do that,
Yes, you do. Yes,
and
you do.
for them.
Yeah.
A lot of these military brats have had a rough time.
And it wasn't like you had a rotten job. I mean, the railroad career sounded like a very interesting.
It was good and it
job.
was permanent. I stayed
Yeah.
41 years with the same company.
Yeah. You don't see that so much anymore.
Had a good position with them. Nowadays, you'd have to, if a similar job, you'd have to have a couple of college degrees.
Okay. Yeah.
But I got in on my experience.
Have any involvement in things outside the home, community activities, or?
Oh, I was a volunteer fireman for years.
Okay.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I was mixed up with the VFW. In the early days, before television and all these other stuff, I was with the Oddfellows Lodge. They were the family lodge in the old days.
Sure.
It was a family deal. It was a great, great place.
Yeah.
And then I do belong to the Elks yet,
Okay.
but I never got involved with them.
Yeah.
But the VFW, you're familiar with
Sure,
that?
yeah.
VFW, okay. For many years, I run their big bingo game for the VFW.
Okay.
I wasn't the caller, I was the manager of it.
Yeah.
I'm the one that figured out the charges and handled the money and all the goodies,
Well, with the managerial experience, you probably would have been a good officer too.
Well,
It could have gone either way.
It'd have been okay. Yeah. I had a job like that for the last 20 years of work.
Yeah.
I was in charge of maybe, as far as people, maybe 150 clerical people, plus responsible for maintenance of the whole plant, and all. It was a responsible job.
I noticed you didn't go into farming.
I grew up on a farm. 1 year out of high school.
Well,
1
now your
year.
brother liked it.
1 year out of high school, I put in 60 acres with a single bottom walking plow and 3 horses on it. I used to ride my bicycle a mile up there and go out in the field and get the horses and saddle them up and harness them up and go out and plow.
Now, you were good at geometry. How did you do at plowing?
Oh, yeah. Well, it didn't make any less furrows to plow. Yeah, I don't know.
Good straight lines.
Geometry just came natural to me.
It is an interesting subject. Interesting study.
I was good at it. I was just good at it. It came to me.
Yeah.
Now, algebra I wasn't particularly good at. I was just mediocre.
Yeah.
But geometry, I never, I one time after, it was about maybe 10 years ago. I bought a used motorhome, and I couldn't find any stats as to how many gallons the gas tank held, without draining it and filling it.
Right.
So then the old light turned on up here. How do I find out? So I measured the tank. It was rectangular.
Right.
By inches, and so I figured out the cubic inches in the tank. I could find no table anywhere that said how many inches in a gallon. I couldn't. I don't know where to find it yet. But anyway, so back to geometry. The magic formula, pi r squared.
Yeah.
I found me a gallon paint can, and I got the dimensions of the diameter,
Yeah.
and times the height. I come up with the cubic inches in a gallon. And when I found out later, I was within 2 or 3 inches of the actual figure.
No
and so
kidding.
I divided that into the cubic inches that was in this gas tank, and I knew, and it came out within a gallon of the actual contents of it. I just did that. The old pi r squared gave the bite.
And you didn't get a Nobel Prize for that?
No, never even
Darn.
got a prize for it.
Those people.
Yeah,
Of course, they're Swedish, aren't they?
yeah, right.
Yeah, well, they're not going to give it to the Norwegian. What about hobbies? I mean, things that you just like to do just for
my
fun?
hobby, back in high school days, I was a big stamp collector, but that's over. But hobbies now, or in later years, up until I moved up to where my daughter is, I sold my home. I had a full shop at home. I did a lot of work, woodworking and metalworking or whatever. Whatever I wanted, I made it.
Yeah.
I would fabricate it, whether it's metal, wood, cabinet making, anything.
Huh.
I was good at that, and I enjoyed doing it. That was
Good
my
skill.
main hobby. Was woodworking and metal fabrication. It didn't weld. I stayed
Right.
off. I figured if I want to glue something to hold, I want a professional do it, not
Right.
just a one time a year time when you want to glue
Sure.
something together.
Yeah.
So I stayed away from welding.
Well, you can save yourself a lot of money. Plus, you get what you want.
Yeah, right.
You don't have to take something off the shelf. You,
Yeah, right.
you get exactly
Yeah.
what fits
Yeah,
your need.
and I always serviced my own cars forever. Clear up to I had the first car in 1939, and from that time up to the late 80s when they went to the electronic ignition and all the stuff where the days of tune up yourself are over practically.
Right.
I did all my tune up work all the years, and I could do it as good as anybody.
Yeah.
And I did it. All the minor repairs. In the old days, you always replacing fuel pumps and water pumps and all related subjects, carburetors. I even did my old carburetor work in the old days.
Yeah.
I just did it all,
That sounds like somebody we know.
and I could make a car run as good as any shop.
Yeah.
I'd tune them up to specs. Then I would go out and test drive, and I would set the timing by actual performance. I'd make her where if you mashed on her really hard, maybe you could get one click out of it.
Yeah.
It was right up to the border point, it's just maximum,
Huh.
Because that's where you get your powers in advanced timing on an engine,
Right.
gas engine, But you don't want to go over where it detonates, but you got to stay. That's going over hitting it on the other side. It don't work.
That could be bad.
Yeah, no, but I did that. And I drove lots of high-speed driving cross country, and they always run good.
So, is there anything in life you haven't gotten around to doing that you wished you could have done? If you had all the money, time, and health, and go to the moon or
Well,
anything.
I was tempted at one time to get a pilot's license.
Hmm.
I never did.
Okay.
I know I had a good friend that had a flying service in the local town. He said, I'll get it through I'll take care of the paperwork with the GI Bills where you get your flying course without costing you a dime, plane rental and all the fuel and everything, right? But I just never did it.
You were, the barnstorming days were pretty much at the end by the time you were a kid. Did you ever see any barnstormers out in that area?
Oh, I'm not familiar, no.
Yeah. Yeah. Because airplanes would have been pretty rare even then. Even in the 30s, you'd see them, but not like
when I was a kid in the museum, you'll see these Ford trimotors.
Yeah.
In about it was a 28 Ford trimotor. That's when they were built, 1928.
Right.
When I was a kid, my dad took me to the airport in Aberdeen, South Dakota, and they had one was sitting there on the runway.
Ah.
And us kids, we got to climb up and sit down in the seat. We didn't get a ride in it, but we got to get up and sit in it, and that was quite a treat.
Oh, I'd reckon. Yeah.
That was the first commercial flying plane, passenger plane,
That wasn't a bad plane either, was it?
It was noisy, and
Yeah.
it was froze you to death too, and everything. It was galvanized tin with no insulation.
Oh, sure.
It was a very good plane.
Before its day, that was.
It was totally
piece.
dependable. They said there's no recorded case of a in-air crash with that plane
Oh, really? Huh.
in its history. They were still using them in South America a few years ago.
Huh. Wow.
Admiral Byrd flew over the South Pole with that first time, with a Ford tri-motor.
Yeah.
Put it aboard a ship, took it apart, put it aboard a ship, reassembled it. He flew over the pole with the old Ford tri-motor.
I didn't realize that was a Ford tri-motor.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Ford.
Yeah, it was the only plane there was then. That's any good.
sure.
They had Pratt Whitney engines in them. It was a very good plane, and it was overpowered. It could fly on any one of them three.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was totally dependable.
Those are interesting days of aviation.
Uh-huh.
And now you look you went from Ford tri-motors to the space shuttle.
Yeah, ain't that something?
Isn't that amazing? And it hasn't been that long. We're not talking about very many years at all, but in the scheme of things.
Old Henry, he was a genius in a lot of ways.
Yeah, he was.
During the war, FDR called him in. Hey, he said, we need a plant to make some big bombers. He was talking about the B-24.
Right.
He said, can you do it? Because he knew he had his assembly line capability and all that,
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
He said, I'll let you know in the morning. He called the president in the morning and said, I'll do it. They built Willow Run,
Yeah,
and he built thousands of those planes.
yeah.
And in the course of the European war, that B-24 that he built carried more bombs on Germany than any other plane.
That was an amazing plane, too.
It was hard. I guess it wasn't the pilot's dream, but I mean, it done the job. It carried a lot of weight, had a long range, and it was totally dependable. It was good,
So
Of course,
look at
he
the thing-
didn't build the plane. He built the plant to build the plane,
Yeah. You wouldn't think the thing could even fly just to look at it, because it's got that little Davis wing on that massive body. And, but I
But
guess
they
it
say
flew
it was
great.
good, very good. It did the job.
Yeah.
It was the plane that they needed for the time.
Was
The
there any-
B-17, got so much publicity, but it was way overrated, I think, in the overall performance of it. It had so much armament and stuff that it couldn't carry many. Its bomb load and its range was not very long.
That's true. That's true.
Not as good.
Is there anything else about your life story you'd like to get recorded? Anything you can think of that we might have left out?
Oh, I don't know.
You think of anything you'd like to, something you've heard about that you'd
Just
like to hear
her.
more about?
Hey, just her.
Yeah. Yeah, she looks like a pretty good addition to your life story.
Yeah.
I think you've done very well. I mean, you started out.
If I had to do it over, I don't know what I'd do different.
You-
Probably not been any better.
Yeah, you had a great
I'm
family
pretty well
starting out.
satisfied to what I've
Throughout.
done or accomplished over my lifetime.
Had a good life.
Yeah, I did. I had a good family. And
So we always ask our veterans to say a few words for posterity. You got any words of wisdom or personal philosophy that's kind of carried you through in life?
oh, I don't know. Think positive.
Well, that's true. I mean, you've been in a lot of negative situations, a lot of
Right.
deadly, awful situations, and yet you seem to have a positive attitude about you. And
My attitude now is yesterday's gone.
yeah,
Tomorrow may not come. Today, if I want to do something and I can do it, I'm going to do it.
that's right.
There is no tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Today is the tomorrow that you worried about yesterday.
And if you don't enjoy it, you're wasting it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Did we talk about that a minute ago?
Okay.
I'll tell you, a good bottle of Bud every day is good tonic. I have a bottle of beer every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I might have two some days in a special occasion, like if I'm alone or with somebody.
Hoping you'd say that.
That sounds like a winner to me. I think I need to change my attitude.
Well, PFC Aasland, I want to thank you for
Well,
this interview, for your service to our country. I sure appreciate your time today.